Welcome, everyone. My name is Patrick Haggard, and I have the duty of presiding. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I'm glad to start welcoming. Judge Macon is going to be able to call everybody's name that is here, recognizing them for being here. But thank you all for coming. We'll start. I'll call on Judge Simpson for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll now call on Kelly Lawrence for the invocation.
Thank you all for being here. If you will, bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for a beautiful day, Lord, that you created. We thank you for the opportunity just to gather with friends and some family and former colleagues and team members that work with Dad. Lord, in this time of this month of, as we think about Thanksgiving, we just especially want to be thankful for all the people that served alongside Dad during his career. We thank you for the investment that they made, for all the people of Athens and Clarke County. And Lord, you tell us in your word in Proverbs that whatever work we do, if we will commit it to you, that you will establish our plans. And you certainly did that for Dad, and that is our prayer, that you'll continue to do that for the people that serve here, not only in the courthouse, but also in law enforcement as well. Again, we thank you for this time to gather. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I'll now call on Judge Benjamin Macon for the welcome.
Thank you, Judge Haggard, and on behalf of the Western Circuit Bar Association, I'd like to welcome you all here today to the unveiling of Judge Lawrence's portrait and to the celebration of his career. I want to thank a lot of people who made this possible today. First of all, the generous donations of the Western Circuit Bar Association members, the Law Library Board. Particularly want to thank Jason Slider, who really spearheaded the efforts of the Bar Association to raise the funds. I want to thank the people who worked very hard to make this event possible today, from the Court Administrator's Office, Elizabeth Ripley and Laura Welch, our state court judges, Judge Oslander and Judge Simpson. I'd like to thank our painter, Suzanne Royal, whose amazing work we will all get to see here shortly. And of course, I want to thank all of you all for taking the time to be here today to make sure that Judge Lawrence received the celebration that he deserves. We're all here today because Judge Lawrence played one role or another in our lives, but they were all very important. For me, my first assignment as an attorney was working in Judge Lawrence's courtroom. My first job was with the Public Defender's Office, and I was assigned to Judge Lawrence's courtroom, where I learned a lot. I spent a lot of time pouring sweat in this courtroom. But there are a whole other group of people who may or may not be here today who really are the people who were truly impacted the most by Judge Lawrence's career. And those are the participants and graduates of the DUI Court that he founded in 2001. Those people who found stability and sobriety in this program are his true legacy, and their lives and the changes that they made will be a legacy that benefits our community for decades and decades to come. And Judge Lawrence, I also want to say that I feel thankful to get to assist Judge Oslander as he continues the outstanding work that you began in running that program. There were two people who especially wanted to be here today, who could not, who really were proud of the work that Judge Lawrence has done and his commitment to our community. The first is Mayor Doc Eldridge. Mayor Eldridge was the mayor during the time that Judge Lawrence founded the DUI Court. He was a big supporter then, and he's been a big supporter ever since. And Judge Lawrence, he sent his best wishes and wanted to be here very much today. The other person who could not be here, who we want to recognize, is Coach Vince Dooley. As many of you all know, prior to his time as state court judge, Judge Lawrence was a legendary football player for the University of Georgia. and he played for Coach Dooley from 1965 to 68. Judge Dooley is very proud both of his career on the field, but even more so off the field. And Judge Dooley actually was able to record a video message that he would like to present, and we would like to present to you all here today. Thank you, Judge Lawrence.
Hey, Kent, congratulations, Judge Lawrence. What a wonderful tribute, your fellow judges, to have this portrait, and well-deserved. I'm proud of you as a football player, certainly the fastest football player. I don't know, in fact, I'd like one day to have you and Herschel race to see which is the fastest player that I ever had. But nevertheless, great football player, but even more proud of you, all what you've done as a judge. And I just am sorry that I'm going to be in Valdosta and won't be able to be there. But as I told Carlene, I want to get in touch with you, and I'm going to meet you at the courthouse. We're going to see the portrait, and then we're going to have lunch together. So congratulations. God bless you. We're proud of you, and I love you.
I'll now call on Judge Auslander, and I'll go ahead and apologize, Judge Lawrence. I'm going to call on Judge Stevens as well to present the portrait.
Thank you, current Chief Judge Haggard. You know, if I had known there was a video option, I think I would have chosen that one. But then I would have missed a chance to make some really stupid remarks about Kent Lawrence. But it really is my honor to pay tribute to a man who left us in 2011, a man who was dedicated to the proposition of equal justice under law, an innovative thinker who was never afraid to try new techniques to help the less fortunate, a man who pioneered the concept of accountability courts, not simply to punish those who face criminal prosecution, but to truly redeem their lives. Unfortunately, Steve Jones couldn't be here with us today. He's already got a portrait hanging downstairs. So, you know, most of us are lucky if we find success in one field of endeavor, but Kent Lawrence has had 3 outstanding careers. First as a lightning-fast running back for the University of Georgia, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Atlanta Falcons. In fact, he's the only person ever to be drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles and the U.S. Army at the same time. My great-great-grandfather actually saw Kent play down at Sanford Stadium. And we're honored to have many of his surviving teammates here with us today. Steve Greer, Charlie Whittemore, Pat Rodriguez here, Wayne Swinford, Don Liebern's here, glad to have you with us. Mixon Robinson, also great Georgia football player. And the athletic director of the University of Georgia, Greg McGarity, is here also. So let's give them a round of applause for doing this. So his first career was as a football player, and his second career was as the first chief of the Clarke County Police Department. And that was before body cams and unification, back when the polygraph was a car battery with a couple of electrodes attached. And Miranda warnings were just a suggestion. Finally, as a prosecutor and a judge, where he truly found his calling, and where young lawyers like me were treated with the utmost respect and degradation. I still have nightmares. But seriously, what truly describes Kent Lawrence's multifaceted career is this one word: consistent excellence. Well, that's actually 2 words. But he's done the work of 2 judges throughout his whole career. The other hallmarks of Kent's long years of service were his compassion for the underdog and his faithfulness to the law. And to be honest, Kent Lawrence has really been my hero since he ran that punt back 86 yards for a touchdown against Tech in 1966 in Sanford Stadium. And I was a tiny child at the time in a stroller. And my mother went up to him after the game and was fortunate enough to get his autograph, and he only charged her $25. So what a man, what a man. If you look at the 1966 media guide for Georgia football, Kent lists his career objective as coaching. And so he does that now mostly from his recliner in front of the television on Saturdays. But how fortunate we all are that he didn't ultimately choose that path, although if he had, no doubt he would have excelled like he has in everything else that he's ever attempted. I'm proud to call Kent Lawrence my friend, although we played a lot more golf together during his working hours than we have since he retired. And I don't know why it took 6 years to paint this portrait, but you know, we did have to raise the $300, Kent, so that's but Kent, this portrait will be a lasting legacy to your many contributions to the cause of justice, a symbol of our love and admiration for you, and a chance for future generations to see what a real judge really looked like. So congratulations.
And nobody wants the unenviable task of following Judge Stevens, but I've been selected to bring this back to the proper decorum and actually provide some actual factual information about Judge Lawrence. And I know that all of us are familiar with what an amazing star he was here in Athens at the university and all the things he did. But I don't know that if you look at it, if each of us realize how many true innovations are here in this state, in our community, and nationally as a result of ideas that he moved forward. And so I just want to cover a couple of those today so we can kind of put in perspective the amazing legacy that he leaves all of us who continue to do the work that he inspired us to do. So I'm going to mention 16 years ago, there were no DUI courts in the state of Georgia. He started the first DUI court without a model, without training from a group of people that come in and tell you how to do it. He went out and sought out the expertise from other judges. He developed the ideas starting on napkins to getting in the right people. And today there are now 23 accountability courts, DUI accountability courts just in the state of Georgia. And he's known by us state court judges as the father of accountability courts in the state of Georgia. At the time that he started that accountability court, the DUI court, there was just a few nationally. There are now almost 750 nationally, a lot of due in great part to him traveling the nation. He traveled all over the United States teaching the model and inspiring others to implement them in their courts. I want to let you know, Judge Lawrence, that we've now had 470 graduates here locally that all started with you in 2001. In 2008, due to Judge Lawrence's efforts, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the National Center for DWI Courts named the Athens DUI Court as one of the first 4 academy courts in the nation. And as an academy court, it had to go through a peer-reviewed process of other judges to determine that it would be a training site, one of only 4 sites in the nation. And he was selected as basically one of 4 model courts in the nation, and that was for a 3-year period. The court again was selected to receive that status in 2011, and it has since also received it in 2014 and 2017. And it is the only court in the nation that has received that status each of those 4 3-year cycles. And that's all as a result of Judge Lawrence's work. Since 2008, we've had over 60 teams from all across the United States. And when I say a team, I'm talking prosecutor, judge, defense attorney, law enforcement, probation, counselors. They come to Athens, Georgia every year, and they've trained under his model. And so we've trained 60 other courts across the nation that follow the model that Judge Lawrence so talked about. A small fact that many of you may not realize is that a part of his innovation in 2005, 12 years ago, he started the first in-house probation office in this county. Prior to that, all the probation for misdemeanor cases in Athens-Clarke County was handled by private companies. Now, if anyone here who's read the news over the past couple of years have realized the scrutiny those private companies have come under, but that nationally has only come under scrutiny over the past few years.
Judge Lawrence realized back in the early 2000s the necessity to have probation supervised by the judges of the county and not by a private company. Well, we didn't have that opportunity until he found a grant to start the first private probation department, which was a person of one, which was Gary Bowen. And Gary Bowen was a post-certified law enforcement officer that monitored the participants of the DUI court, and it was the first such in this county. Since then, from Judge Lawrence starting probation with one person under a grant, we now have a model program in the United States, a model program in the state of Georgia that people come from all over to view our model probation program. There are currently 17 post-certified probation officers that work under our Chief Dale Allen, who's here. Where are you, Chief Allen? Way in the back. There are 25 staff members, and they have 4 specialized units, which includes a domestic violence unit supervising domestic violence offenders, an intensive supervision unit, they have a pretrial diversion unit, and they service our 5 accountability courts. And that all started with him back in 2005. So the legacy that you leave in the probation department is amazing. And one additional innovation that he himself spearheaded, and when he was telling me about this in 2006, it was just one of those things I said, this will never work. Of course, you never told him that. I was like, this is the craziest idea, but we were out in Seattle, Washington, and he continued to meet with the manufacturers, the company of Siemens, about bringing our drug lab in-house. At that time, all of our drug samples had to be sent across the country to be tested by a lab far, far away. But he had this idea that if we could test locally and test using the same reagents and test using the same machine, we could have lower cost testing and we could better supervise our people. So in 2006, he started the first drug lab in an accountability court program in the state of Georgia. Since then, that drug lab has grown. It now services all the accountability courts. It services probation. It services several other county agencies and private companies. It was initially just run by the staff of the drug court. It now has 4 staff members and runs over 20,000 drug screens per year. And that's all from his idea and innovation. So the ripples that we feel today are all as a result of the innovations that he moved forward. And when he would announce these things, we'd be like, I don't know how he's going to get that done, but he always found a way. I just want to note that he has been recognized on every level. Personally, he has been recognized for his efforts. Here in Athens-Clarke County in 2012, he was named the Social Justice Award winner, which is named after Milner Ball, by the Athens Justice Project for his work in social justice, which is the highest local honor that anyone working in the criminal justice system could receive. Statewide, our state court judges renamed the highest honor that we give after Judge Lawrence. It's now called the Ogden Doremus Judge Kent Lawrence Award, and it's awarded once a year to the judge that has achieved the highest level of respect for his or her peers as being a judge recognized for their judicial ethics and professionalism on the bench and their involvement in the community. And our state court judges felt that he was such an example of that we had named that honor, so it'll always be recognized after him because of his contributions. And finally, nationally, he has received the highest honor nationally, and it's an honor presented by the National Center for DUI Courts, and they award it to one person across the nation each year. And in 2012, he received the NCDC Leadership Award. And I know in this room that may not mean a lot in this room, but this is for a national organization that has thousands of members, that our conference alone has 2,500 attendees, and he was brought up in front of the entire group of professionals and received this leadership award. And the leadership award recognized someone nationally whose tireless efforts saved countless lives and made communities a safer place. It recognized someone who contributed to the advancement of the nation's DWI court effort and demonstrated significant personal leadership and exemplary performance at the local, state, regional, and national levels. And there's no one else that I can think of who is better deserving of that for his work than Judge Kent Lawrence. So. And so those are all the facts. And today we're here to celebrate Judge Lawrence, which is long overdue by his portrait hanging in the courtroom. But for us up here, we felt that that was just not enough. So we have 2 other items to help properly recognize Judge Lawrence. And we're very fortunate that we have had an intern working in our office the past year, Cassidy Flood. Where is Miss Flood, if you will? She's outside? Oh, she's way back there. There's Miss Flood. Ms. Flood was an intern. She is a major at the University of Georgia in both English and history, which is perfect for one of the tasks that we assigned her. But we asked her to try to capture some of Judge Lawrence's story. And so she spent the past months going into archives, reading newspaper articles, going books. Judge Lawrence, she even found a book on the 1969 Philadelphia Eagles and what went wrong. Can you? It wasn't you. It wasn't you. I don't know how she found that book, but clearly there was a book written on what went wrong. Maybe you can explain that later. It might have been the only unsuccessful thing you ever were a part of was the 69 Eagles. She interviewed his colleagues, his friends, and she has captured, and the amount that she was able to capture is much greater than what we have provided briefly to you, but she put it into an article form that's included in your program, so that's one of the things that we've done to try to capture just some of the story. And the second thing is that our DUI court team and local judiciary felt very strongly that it would be important to recognize him not only here in the courtroom, but with regard to the DUI court, the first one that he established back in 2001. And to that effect, our DUI court program, as of today, will be renamed in his honor, and it will now be known as the N. Kent Lawrence DUI Court Program. And we have commissioned a bronze plaque that will be permanently affixed outside the N. Kent Lawrence DUI Court office. Now, the bronze plaque has not been prepared today, so we have a replica of it, and we're going to unveil that in just a moment. So if I can have our current DUI Court team members and any former team member, Ralph Powell, that has been on the DUI Court team, if you'll come up so we can unveil this and get a picture with Judge Lawrence. So if you'll come up. All right, Judge Lawrence, if you'll come up here. You'll stand right here. Can we get everybody to come up? We got some room. We can push this back if we need to. Let me step right here. All right, Ms. Stoller, is there a good photo? And Carlene, do you want to sit right here so you can see? Well, let me unveil it. Is it everybody up here? All right, we're going to unveil this. This will be the plaque that recognizes the N. Kent Lawrence DUI Court, established in 2001. The first DUI court in Georgia is named for its founder, who served as the chief of the state court of Athens-Clarke County from 1985 to 2011. Judge Lawrence's tireless efforts have made a lasting impact on the lives of participants and have furthered the goal of improving public safety in countless communities. In 2012, Judge Lawrence received the NCDC Leadership Award, the highest national honor, in recognition of his vision and commitment in the field of DUI courts, dedicated November 17, 2017.
I'd like to ask Suzanne Royal if you'll come up, and Kent, Carlene, if you'll come up, and members of your family, if y'all come around for the unveiling.
I don't know. Judge Stevens will tell you where to be.
Well, why don't y'all get on both sides of it, and if you have somebody you want to unveil it,
The family.
somebody from the family who'd like to yank the cover off.
Kelly, we're going to put you in charge of the unveiling, so you tell us how you want.
Don't knock it over.
Want the family?
You ready?
On your marks?
Ready?
In just a moment, I'm going to invite Judge Lawrence and Carlene up and make a few remarks. But before I do that, I want to point out that while Judge Stevens made the comment about raising the money for the portrait for Judge Lawrence and taking a while, I'm contacted weekly about a retirement portrait for Judge Stevens. That won't be a problem. Would you like to come up and say a few words? Come on up, Judge Lawrence. We have a few things to say. And Andrew, we have a grandson that is going to join us.
Hello, my name is Andrew Costello, and I'm a sixth grader at Westminster Christian Academy. Most of you know him as Kent Lawrence, but I know him as Gamps. Lauren and I are the first grandchildren, and we live right behind their house, just across the bridge and over the creek. Living so close made us a strong relationship. One of my favorite memories with Gamps was all the time he would take me to the dump when it was trash day. Why I like this, I never knew, but it was our thing. Lauren and I are very proud of Gamps.
This is very overwhelming, and I'm totally touched by everybody being here today. And I really appreciate it and totally feel so blessed, the people that are here. You know, I woke up this morning and I said to Kent, now I know what George Washington's wife felt like when her portrait got. I'm really proud of you. This is unbelievable. And to be honest with you, after hearing all those things that Chuck said, I feel like I'm married to somebody that's more important than I thought. I was talking to my brother the other day on the phone, and I said, Donald, would you have ever thought when I was in high school that I would be married to a judge? I will not tell you what he said. But it totally gives me chills to look at this portrait and realize that it's going to be hung in this room. And it's just an overwhelming feeling. I am touched by 2 of our 5 children being here and their spouses, Kelly and Sarah, and Mark and Kim, and of course our grandchildren. We've got 5 here, but there's only 4 here that are showing. We have 1 on the way that's due in 3 weeks, that we're so blessed. But they are almost 5 of our almost 13 grandchildren, so we are very fortunate. And Suzanne, I can't say enough about you. You are a fantastic artist. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, all those trips back and forth and the proofing sessions and everything. You are remarkable and a fantastic artist. I'm just blown away at how good this looks. And I haven't seen it framed, so it even looks better. For all those who worked with Kent, thank you from me, and you are actually part of this canvas. It's very touching to see how many people have shown up to just be here today. But you are his family, and this is part of you too. To our family and friends, thank you. My spiritual family is here. Our spiritual family is here. They have always been here for us, and I know they always will. Thank you very much.
it's important that you understand that Judge Stevens was very nice to give me a couple of hours of his time so I could use my watch. I guess I'll put it back on. Judge Stevens and I have had a running dispute for many years about the same thing. Seriously, first thing I want to say is I've heard a lot of comments said here today in this room, and it has really overwhelmed me here today by the number of people that came out today to be here, away from your work, and I certainly appreciate it. I can't tell you how much that I have meant to this community. I hope that I have given more than less than I probably have deserved. But I am so proud of my family. My wife, Carlene, has been a great supporter of me. It's just overwhelming to see so many faces out here, and I'm not going to start naming people. We'll be here for another hour. But it's just unbelievable that we can bring that many people over here on short notice. And what's important about it is it's not a big thing in terms of anything about me. I've been fortunate to have the opportunities to go not only here in Athens and work, but also to go outside the state of Georgia and 38 other locations where I've traveled over the United States, and traveling and trying to go do my work here in Athens and also around the other 38 other states. But I wouldn't in any way want to diminish anything about those 38 states that I had the opportunity to work in and share and grow the program not only in Athens but across this country. And I think that without question, we've had a huge benefit that we've given to this community simply because of a team that we put together not knowing what we were doing, didn't have a clue what we were doing, but we knew that we were not meeting the I would say, those things that were in Athens, a lot of people wouldn't even think about or not know about as to what's happened over the last number of years since 2001 when we first established our DUI court. But again, it's important that we do recognize it's not a one-person team. We saw that when we got our fanny beat the other day. And we're still recovering. But I can say that I have had a wonderful adventure over not only in Athens, but across this country, and meeting people from all around the country and getting to know people. But one thing for sure is always will be my home here in Athens. That's where I came here. I grew up in Clemson, South Carolina, came across the river, never looked back. And I think I made the best decision. Coach Dooley was a great man to me, and I think to a lot of the players that we played with, and a lot of them are here today, and I appreciate you being here. I wish that my parents had passed on earlier, maybe a little later on, and I didn't get to spend more time with them, but they now have moved on, and someday in the future we will join them. But Athens is a special place. You people come here from all around, not only in this county, but from other counties, and we see people coming in and out all the time. But that's also true of people coming in and out of the other places from around the whole country. And as Judge Oslander said a few minutes ago, I mean, it's remarkable what it's hard to tell you how important it is to this community that we continue this community in the way that we need to continue to carry it, in a way that we provide special treatment for our people in the courts. And that's should be our challenge. We should grow every day and try to be better every day, and to make our programs better every day, not only in Athens-Clarke County, but across this state, but across this country, and other courts that are building their own courts across the country. And so I'm just really proud that, more so about me, it's just the people that I have met, not only here in Athens, but across this state and across this country, that it's just been a wonderful adventure. Even got lost into out of the country one time, had to get back in, legally, I might say. But I really did. It was up on the Sioux Reservation. We had got there right on the line, and I got across and almost didn't get back in, but had to drive about 7 or 8 hours to get back down one dirt road to get to that particular area. But it was interesting, and it's, I wouldn't give anything for it. I've had a great opportunity to come to Athens, would never want to leave it. And, look forward to being here for the rest of my life, and I hope that there'll be many more days that we'll continue to grow our programs. Thank you very much.